So today we are going to learn about file handling. This is fourth part of it, and we are going to learn about some more functions just like cursor in our file. So let's get through one example using file equals to open method. Now if after that, if I will write like file dot read line, it will going to read its first line. So let's say L is equals to file dot read line, and then if I print L, okay, let's say if I run this, now file dot close. Okay, now if I run this, you can see that I got the first line. So what is our first line? So this is my first line in my file.txt. You can see it is started from file handling allows Python and up to the while program is running. So that is the same module which I got. But let's say if somehow I lost this variable and I again want that variable to print the same line. Obviously I can print L, but let's say check the cursor position. Okay, now if I run this, okay, it did not print anything because it returns, I think so. So you need to use print command for this in order to return value on the console on a terminal basically. So here you can see when I run first time file.tel, it returned me 0, and after printing this line, it returned me 140. What does this mean? It is basically going from one line to another. Basically, it is cursor positions. Like it is correct. Currently, it is at 0. Now it will at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the same way, it will go up to the end, and it is like 139, and then after that 140. Likewise, and after this, if I again run this, let's say if I again run this, L is equals to file dot read line, and again I will print L, and after this I'll again going to print file dot tel. Okay, now if I run this again, okay, now you can see it is going like 0. Our first cursor position is at 0. After that we printed our content, and after that we got our cursor position at 140, and after we printed our second line, and after that we got 251. So what is this 251? It is basically the cursor position. It goes to next line. So let's say 140, and it goes here. So it is like 121. So this is like 251. The cursor position is 251. Now it comes to the next line. So in the same way, you can read your line. You can read your cursor position of your file object. Likewise, as you know, whenever we are reading file, as I told earlier, it is like we're pressing Shift plus N. So what is happening? It is that currently our cursor is at 0 position, and when you press Shift plus N, your cursor is at now 140 position. Not like 140, basically end of the line, end of first line. So end of first line is 140 position. After that, it goes to next line, and again now it is 140 position. When you press Shift plus End, it goes to next this second end of line, second line end of second line basically. I mean basically. So it is the 251 position of this. Now again it goes to the third line, and again you press Shift plus End. So you got to next end of the line, end of third line basically, and you will again get the some position. So file.tel basically tells the position of the file. Okay. So next one is file.seek. What does file.seek means? It means suppose you want to print a data from only this part up to end. or you want to move your cursor just like I'm moving here in this video. You can see I'm moving my cursor in this way. So in the same way, you can also move your cursor using file object. So there is one function which name is file.c. Okay, so what does it do? It moves your cursor wherever you want, and zero is the first index of it. Basically, zero is the starting of it. Now, if I first print, not print, this is executable. This is void function. Basically, it will apply the changes. Not f.c, file.c. Okay, let me remove this first. Okay, let's say first we are going to read line. File.read line. Okay, and after this we will also print L, and before this reading line we are going to print file.tell. We are going to read the cursor position. Now we are going to print reading the file first line. Now after this, what we are going to do? After this, print whatever you want to print as a comment for debugging. Here you can print like this, and it's like finished reading. And again, now print file.tell. Okay, so we finished the reading, and also we are going to tell the position of cursor. Now after this, what we are going to do? We are going to change the position using seek. So before that, it's print using seek 0. Seek is basically to jump you from one position to another. And now we are going to execute file.seek. File.seek is a void function, so it does not return anything. And after this, you are also going to print file.tell. And let's say before this, print. We are going to check again. Check again. Check tell. Okay. Okay, now here you can see it says it has 0 position, and we are reading the first line of file basically, and it reads the first line and printed it, and we finish the reading, and our cursor position is now at 40. And after that, we simply printed using seek 0. So what is seek 0? After this printing, we got file.seek 0. We executed this function, which is file.seek 0. Now when we execute this, you can see after that, when we again check file.tell, it becomes 0. So what happens is that position is again reset to 0. Okay, now let's print this one thing again after this, making it 0. Now if you run this, you will notice major difference. Just like it is at 0, we are reading first line, and okay, just like it is 2 times. Let me remove this. So you can see first our cursor position is at 0, and we are reading first line, and after that it reads the first line and finish reading our cursor position at 140. Now we are going to use seek 0, and after seek 0, when we check, we got that file.tell is at 0. And when again, suppose whenever we are executing second time file.readline, it is going to return second line of the file. But now what is happening? It is returning the first line. So how is it possible? Because our cursor is again going to first position. So what happened? How does our Python file execute this? It is like it goes first like this, and again just press Shift plus End. So it goes from home to end for the first line, and instead of going to next line, this is cursor 140 position at 140. What happens is that our cursor, we tell our Python to move your cursor to at 0 index. So just press Control plus home. It is like file.seek 0 means Control plus home, or at 0 position of your file. So it is 0 position. Now again press Shift plus N. So we, although we have executed 2 times file.readline, but but we only get the same data, just first line. Okay, now let's try to remove this file.seek. Now let's try to remove this file.seek. I will just commented out, so it is not going to execute. Now here you can see what's happened. It is what is first as 0, and then reading first line. We read our first time read line, and after that we finished reading, and now cursor position at 140. Now we are second time reading the file.read line, and what it return? It returns the second line of that. So in this way you can use file.seek. So basically it is used to jump from one position of a file to another. It is basically just a cursor position movement. Now after that we have file.flush. Okay, what does file.flush means? Suppose you have this file. Okay, now what we're going to do, we are going to use it in write mode. Okay, now let's say I'm going to execute for loop. Okay, for I in range, let's say I'm going to take input 5 times. Okay, and sentence is equals to input, enter. Now after this, what we're going to do, we are like file dot write sentence, file dot write sentence. Okay, now that's it. If I run this, so at the same time I'm going to see, you are also going to, here you can see our file.txt is being clear because we are using write mode. Now whenever you, now let's enter some of the sentences like hello world. Let's say our first sentence will be like hello world, and let's say second sentence hello coder. Let's say third sentence like I like Python. Let's say fourth sentence Python is high level language. Python is more easier than C, C++. Okay, I forgot one thing. Tell that you need to also write the end line character. Okay, so we can pass like comma new line equals to backslash n, and we're again going to write the same thing. Hello world, hello coder. So it does not take us backslash n. So you have to manually set backslash n in this. So it goes your cursor, this moves your cursor to the next line. Now let's again run this. So here you can see that we also need to use backslash n because new line is also a character which is need to be put at the end of the each and every line. So in this way you can get when I finish my program. Okay, but what happens if I use file.flush because I need to show file.flush to you. So I'm going to use file.flush here. Okay, now let's run again this program and see the difference because all of the outputs I will get at the end. Now let's see that what happens. Hello world. Okay, did not appear. Okay, it is not reload that. So here we got reloaded version. Now I again running it. Hello coder. Just reload your file once. Here you got another one. Now after this, next line is I like Python. Well, this VS Code is not reloading this file. So here you go. If you want to reload, you can just change your tab in your VS Code or file. So it is updating like line wise. And next line, let's say we write Python is high level language. Okay, now let's also again reload this. So you can see that what does file.flush makes our code. It makes to update your code at a live time. Just like I'm written file.flush, whenever it is going to write file.write, it is also going to flush your file at the same time. What is that flush? Flush means basically update the file at the same time whenever it is going to execute. Now last one is Python is easy. So you can see I got this next one at the live. And even you can open Notepad if you can. Just open this with Notepad and we may see some differences. Okay, for this, let me to go like this. Okay, now we are going to execute this. Okay, so let's run this program again. So you can see it reloaded and let's write something new in this. This file is written using Python. Okay, here you can see one thing. Keep unsaved changes. Just like this file location has unsaved changes. There are also changes to this file from another app. So here you can see our Windows get notification from that someone else resource is also trying to change this file. So we are going to reopen file. So you can see we got this, and let's say run again something. This is, let's say these are text of terminal. So you can see it again going to update. Now after that, let's say add anything, it's like some language. Other languages are C, C++, Python. Now we just reload this. Here we got. So we are getting a changes in lifetime. Although I have to click this because the notepad is not loading constantly. So if you reload your text file, it will update at the same time. And after this, just return some temporary words. So you can see we got hello, and after that the stem. So here you can see this one is also getting changes at the same time. So here you can see we again get keep on saved changes. So we are going to reopen file. So in this way, our Python file.flush command works. And one more thing, let's try to remove that file.flush function from here. And then after that, we are going to refresh our page. And this time, I am going to only write some characters only. That's random characters. And now if okay, basically I opened the file in write mode, therefore all our data are disappeared. Now let's say, so here you can see I am trying to reload this, and even here, but it is not reloading, or you can say it is not updating. Let's again some random data, and again some random data, again some random data. So you can see this got data, and now if I reload here, you can see I also got this. So in this way, you can use file.flush. Basically, it is used to update a file whenever you are working. Like whatever you made the changes to your file, if you want to try it, if you want to implement it at the same time, you have to use file.flush. Okay, now next one is text.strip. And text.strip is just like simple removing white spaces and say space backslash n in this way. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to copy a text from one file and pasting it into the another file. Okay, and these are simple words. We have done these things, read student records from CSV. Okay, so that's all about what we are going to do now. We are going to deal with some other things like strip version. So why we need to use strip? Why? Then just like we have file and it has only text, but it does not only have text. It will sometimes have tab, sometimes it will have spaces, sometimes it will have new line characters. So in this way, you will need to remove it. So let's open this file.txt. Okay, this is in read mode, and now after this, what we are going to do, we will going to read line. Okay, so let's create a L equals to this. Let's do this thing in terminal. It will be more explainable. Okay, now if I run file equals to open. Okay, now after this, if I want to write file dot read line, so you can see we are getting also backslash n. If I again execute this, I am getting backslash n, again backslash n, again backslash n, again backslash n. Now there is empty because there are no lines. So let's do it. File dot seek 0. Now what will happen? Our cursor goes to first line. Okay, now you can see. Let me make it more clear to you all. First line, second line, third line. Now if I run this again, okay, let me to file dot close and let me reopen this. Let me reopen this, and after this, the straight line. So there's first line, second line, third line. Now there is no line, so it is not printing anything. Now we move to file dot 60. Basically, it moves our cursor to first position, and we are again reading line first line. Let's move now this time again to 0. Now when we run again file dot read line, it is again going to first line. Now if I again run, so it is second line. So whenever I use file dot 60, it moves my cursor to the index 0. Now I'm again executing file dot read line, so it goes to first line. Now let's again run the file dot 60. So what it will make again goes to first 0 index. Now if I run file dot read line, it is going to read first line. So it is like I'm going from 0 and then end. After that I goes to like here and then this, and again I goes to file 0 index. So it is again going to read file dot 0 file dot. So this is our first line. After that if I press home again, control plus home, this is file dot 60, and if I again shift n, it is going to save. So it is going to read as first line. So in this way file dot save works. Now here some interesting parts, like let's say you are seeing at backslash n here. Let's save this into s2 equals to, this is because second line. Now if I check s2, here you can got second line. Now s3 equals to, you can see I'm getting third line, and let's say file dot seek 0, and then s1 equals to, so is s1, here is s2, here is s3. So what does strip is used to do? The strip is like removing white spaces, so we need to use s1 dot strip. So we got the stripped version of it. Same with s2 dot strip, we got a strip version of second line. So basically it removes the backslash and there's nothing more to do with it. Now after this, we need to copy a text from a file and paste it to the another file. So let's make it more challenging. Copy from text file and save it to the binary file. Or in simply, I want to convert this data into text, into binary file. Okay, so let's do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read all of the file data. So for one line reading, we are going to use read is equals to file dot read lines. So let's check what is the output of file dot read lines. First of all, we are going to use file dot seek 0, and after that file dot read lines. So you can see we are getting list of each and every line. So what we are going to do, so here we have read it and we are going to close. Now after that file underscore bind b. So I am making this variable, so I will make it like binary file, and I am going to open folder. One more thing, if a file does not exist and you are using W mode, then it will create new file. Else if you are using append and read mode, I mean reading mode only, then it is going to return you error. So here's that file dot. Okay, we also need to use import pickle, and after this pickle is not okay, there is pickle. We are going to use pickle dot dump, and one more thing, if you have list like this, let me run file dot 60, and read is equals to file dot read lines. If I try read, so if you want to convert this whole string list of a string, I mean string of list, what you can say it like, this is a list of string basically. So you can use it like this, string, empty string dot join read. So you can see it combines all of the output. So we are going to do same. We are going to write data is equals to string dot join read. Okay, now we are going to use pickle dot, we have pickle dot dump already. Okay, so let's make it more clear. This is text file. Now after this, binary file. Now we are going to write data and our file object. After that, we are going to, okay, our file object is file underscore b, and we are going to script file underscore b dot close. Okay, let's try to execute this. So argument must be string, not bytes. Okay, so here we have done one thing wrong, which is we need to use WE for writing binary file, and for reading it is by default, but for her clearance we are going to use R. Now let's run this. So our code runs successfully. So okay, we have made one mistake again. We are going to use file.dat, and let's write this again. Okay, so we recover this. Now if I run this again, we should get one new file here. So here you can see I am getting one new file, just file.dat. So erasing the file is not displayable in text editor because it is in binary. If I try to open it, okay, I can't open. Now I have saved some data in this file. Now let's try to read this. So I'll just comment this out. So I will not getting anything from this, and I'm going to use reading. So now I'm going to read the file data. For that I will like to use pickle dot we have command like pickle dot, what was it, pickle dot load we have. So we can simply print pickle dot load, and we need to pass our file object, this file underscore b. Now if you try to print this, so you can see in this way I have copied data from one text file and save it to binary file, and also I verified that this is the same. You need to mention that this is I am getting this data from .dat, not from .txt. So .dat is not openable, but .txt is, we can edit it. Let's say if I add here fourth line, and if I try to change it, now if I run this again, so our that file must be updated. Now let's redo this. And if I run this again, okay, something did not run well. I still not get the fourth line. Okay, so you can get that fourth line, but it's somehow stored again. Okay, so it is selected .dat at that time. Now let's run this, and after this, just redo. I'm going to redo this all. and again save it, and if I run again, so you can see I also got the fourth line. So in this way, you can run your file.txt and save it to file.dat and verify that data from file.dat using RB method, and for writing you have to use W method. And in next lecture, we are going to learn about exception handling. It is very important. Suppose you are getting just like many times syntax error, runtime error, you need to know about this, and you can also make a program to skip these errors. So next topic will be exception handling. That's it for today.